Alright, so I'm going to use the Diablo Tiger for this battle. This is the Diablo Tiger Alpha, which is one of two prototype Zoids. There's a beta version as well, which I haven't bought yet. I probably will do that eventually just to say how it is, but it's probably not that much different than this one. And so we're going to go ahead and get into the battle here with Harry and Mary. Welcome back to Let's Play Zoids Battle Legends, and so now to describe the actual battle we're fighting here. The Diablo Tiger it only has one weapon, and it doesn't really have any customization whatsoever. It's pretty much just stock, but it is very powerful, and it is extremely fast. It's probably one of the fastest Zoids in the game. I even dare say it might even be faster than the Zero Jaeger, but it's kind of hard to tell because a lot of it comes from its boost. But here we are fighting Harry and his Darkhorn. His Darkhorn is one of the more powerful ones in the game, but it's still pretty much just a Darkhorn. So there's really not a whole lot that we need to be worried about because we've taken down several Darkhorns previously. So, but what we do need to worry about is Mary over there in her Iron Kong, because not only does she have the top of the line Iron Kong, but if you look over there in the distance, it can also turn invisible. So that's going to be really annoying because we won't be able to attack it, but it still has all these incredibly ferocious attacks it'll be able to hit us with. But the Diablo Tiger's weapon here is some kind of homing projectile. It does a pretty good job of homing in on enemies, but you still have to aim it at least. But as you can see, it has the whole missile lock-on thing. So here we go, there's Mary and her Iron Kong. This thing has a lot of health, and it's, like I said, it's very difficult to kill. And this is probably one of the tougher fights in this tournament because of that, but we have a Zoid that's incredibly fast. I'm going to see if I can hit her anyway, even if she's invisible. Yeah, there we go. That worked out nicely, and our ally has been beaten up pretty badly here as a result of the invisibility, because they really can't counter. I mean, that's just the way the AI works. Otherwise, the invisibility would be useless if the AI could still recognize the enemy was there. And for us, it just means that we can't lock onto them. We can still technically see them. We can see their silhouette and their shadow, so we can try to hit them, which is actually going pretty well here. Okay. She's visible again, she's incapacitated, and she's almost down for the count. Like I said, this may be a pretty cheap way to do this battle. You probably would have more appreciated it if I had done this with a more practical Zoid for more challenge. But the Diablo Tiger is actually not as expensive as it might seem. It's probably only 100,000, which is, just over, the price of the Koenig Wolf. So, and far less than, and just over the price of the Liger Zero upgrades, but it's under the price of like the Zero X and all the other like really top of the line stuff. So it's not completely out of your reach if you wanted it. But one day I do plan to get the beta version as well and see if that's any better or just any different. I think they're the same price though. So next battle here is going to be up against Bit and can't remember, Jamie. This is his name in the anime at least. I can't remember if his name is that here in the game, I wasn't looking, but we're up against the Zero Schneider and his Gojulus. I don't actually remember him having a Gojulus in the anime, but I think it was just because they couldn't give him his Flying Zoid. Anyway, I'm going to do something rather weird here. I'm going to finally get out the Blade Liger. There was a couple other times where I tried to use the Blade Liger in this tournament that I edited out those battles because I failed miserably, and I can't remember which battles those were, so I'm not going to say. The Blade Liger I have here in this mode is the top of the line Blade Liger. It's Leon's Blade Liger, the red one, which is technically stock. It just has the best stats in the game, and I've go ahead and equipped it with attack boosters, of course, but I haven't gotten the missiles for it because I figured I might as well leave the Blade Liger Mirage with the missiles, so I have some sort of reason to want to use one or the other. Otherwise, there wouldn't be much of a point to have two Blade Ligers in the same garage. But anyway, the Zero Schneider. The reason I'm using the Blade Liger against the Zero Schneider is because in the anime that they go up against each other, and I was rather disappointed to see the Blade Liger, my favorite Zoid of all time, be the one that gets defeated when it put up such a great fight. So, but don't worry, we'll demonstrate the Zero Schneider soon enough. But it's gonna have to get its ass kicked first. Now the Zero Schneider actually is a very tough opponent to take on at close range in this game because it has an incredibly cheap melee attack. It only has one weapon, and that's the underbarrel shock cannon that all the Liger Zero variants have. But this melee attack has just a ridiculous range on it. It's very powerful, and I've gotten actually really lucky here to actually be able to hit it with the blades like so. I'm kind of being cheap about it and hitting him from behind with the blades. Also, I have the boosters for this Blade Liger, so that also helps tremendously. He also has a shield, which he didn't really get a chance to use because we pretty much wiped the floor with him. Rather disappointing, but like I said, do not underestimate the Zero Schneider because its melee attack is, like I said, incredibly difficult to dodge because it just has a ridiculous range on it. It's probably one of the best melee attacks in the game, other than the Trinity Liger. But and he didn't even get to use his blade attack either. So here we have the enemy Gojulus against our Gojulus Giga, and obviously we can see who's winning here. But we may have to intervene and see if we can get a little bit more blade action in here. And the Blade Liger deserves... I'm just trying to get the Blade Liger its fame before we go and destroy it, because it's going to be our opponent in the next battle, I believe. And wow, that shot cannon is inaccurate. Let's switch to the attack boosters. There we go, it's almost down. Go ahead and finish it with the blades. There we go. Beautiful. But, funny story, actually, of my liking for the Blade Liger. I was such a big fan of Zoids back in the day when it came out that I wanted to get a Blade Liger model kit. And unfortunately, the only one that was available here in America was the Red New Century Zero one, this one right here. But it was incredibly rare, and I could never find it. And it's still to this day, it's incredibly hard to find and very valuable, apparently. So still to this day, I have not found that damn thing. But I did find the a Japanese one, the Chaotic Century blue one, which is probably more rare when you think about it, but it was cheaper at the time. I'm not sure if it's gone up in value or not, but it's still probably one of my favorite pieces of anime collectibles or memorabilia. But enough about that. One day I will have that Red Blade Liger. Even if I have to pay like $100 or whatever for it on eBay, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Anyway, moving on to now destroying this thing with the Liger Zero Schneider, and we're going to flip the battle around on its head and do it from the other perspective. And the enemy team here is comprised not only of the Blade Liger, but Naomi and her gun sniper, and Naomi's gun sniper is also the top of the line gun sniper, but as far as stats go. But it doesn't have all those ridiculous weapons on it like Lena's does. It pretty much is a stock gun sniper with good stats, similar to how Leon's Blade Liger is a top-of-the-line Blade Liger as far as stats go, but it's pretty much stock as far as weapons go. Her gun sniper is completely helpless. We just carved it up into bits just then. Naomi is actually one of my more favorite characters from the anime. Not to mention she's pretty hot too. But unfortunately Leon didn't get a lot of screen time in the anime, if I recall. The Blade Liger only shows up for a couple episodes. There we go, shields collide. This should be such an even battle like it is right now. Alright, let's get the blades out and see who can get the first hit in. Apparently us. Yeah, I had the advantage when I was using the Blade Liger, but now I have the advantage with... Oh, that was well played. He used the shield right when I was trying to use my incredibly cheap melee attack. Hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate that and show you just how ridiculous it is, because the range on it, as you can see, I just went right under him trying to use it. But unfortunately I don't have the boosters, I have the shield, so it's pretty much going to be a... It's going to be just shield on shield. I'm not going to be able to exploit. See, look at that. I just like dashed halfway across the map to hit him with that melee attack. The range on it is just so ridiculous. Oh, I'm going to do it again here. And down he goes. Wow. I told you this thing was cheap. But yeah, like I said, we're pretty much going to be clashing shields in that fight. It's not going to be like I can exploit his lack of speed with the boosters. Pretty sure you can't buy any... boosters for this thing, and you can't buy a shield for the Jaeger, but I'm not quite sure about that, because obviously why would you bother? But I'd be curious to see. So now that we're done wiping the floor with our favorite characters, let's move on to the next battle, which is against Bit and Brad, and the Liger Zero Panzer and the Shadow Fox. So we get to destroy some more incredibly silly Zoids. And let's see, I will demonstrate the Panzer eventually, because the Panzer's one I've had for a while in this file. I had the Jaeger and the Schneider in the other file, though they got deleted, so that's why I had to buy them over again. Eventually I want to demonstrate the Energy Liger, but right now I think I'm going to go, let's do something really ridiculous. Let's go with the Gryphon here. The Gryphon, I don't know if I clarified it earlier, I think it's a Zoid from Zoids Fusers, I'm not sure. But it's kind of a flying Zoid, and it's kind of slow and clunky, although it's not all that big and tough. It only has 2400 health. But the only really nice thing about it is it has the giant eagle cannon on it, which the Gojral Skinga has. So if you wanted a Zoid that has that, but it's not quite as obnoxiously overpowered like the Gojral Skinga is, you could always use this. So didn't want to make this battle too unfair, but I wanted to demonstrate the Zoid eventually. So let's go ahead and wipe the floor with the Shadow Fox real quick. So our ridiculously big cannon's gonna annihilate it pretty quickly. The other weapons are like some anti-air missiles or whatever. They're really weird, but you know, why would you even bother when you have this thing? I'm not sure if it comes with it stock. I may have had to buy it separately. I think it does come with it stock, but the Gojral Skinga doesn't. I'm not sure. Maybe it does come with its stock, because in the next tournament we're going to fight the Gojral Skinga, and it has the cannon on it. But when we got the Gojral Skinga in the campaign, it did not have it. So anyway, about the Liger Zero Panzer over here. The Panzer is pretty much the only other alternative to the Jaeger and the Schneider, where it's incredibly slow and incredibly heavily armored, and has tons of weapons on it, most of which are missile launchers. But it does have two big cannons on it called the hybrid cannons, and those are the only real threats we need to look out for. What I typically recommend for the Panzer is a fast Zoid, obviously, because that's what I usually prefer, but yeah, that didn't really, that went pretty well. He didn't even get a chance to really do anything to us, because, like I said, he's incredibly immobile, so he didn't even get a chance to turn around and try to hit us. But it seems we have fought fire with fire and taken him and his immense power down with even more power. Because that makes perfect sense. So, I think we're going to be moving on to the final battle here, because the New Century Zero tournament doesn't really have a boss round to speak of, because there was no big boss type enemies in the New Century Zero anime tournament. So, the final battle is against Vega and Huma, who have the Berserk Fury and a Genosaur. So, I guess the final battle in the anime was just against the Berserk Fury, but we couldn't really fight it by itself because it's not really a boss enemy per se. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and use the Panzer in this fight. And I think I should have enough money to buy the Liger Zero X now, but I'll probably do that next time in the start of the third tournament. So we're going to be in the same arena that we were in all the previous, look at him, he's like struggling to stand up there with all that armor on. It's kind of sad, actually. But anyway, we're in the same arena that we were in when we fought the Death Sword, and this is going to be the same arena we fight all the final bosses in. But obviously we're not fighting a giant boss type enemy, we're fighting normal enemies. But the Berserk Fury, which for some reason is spelled Berserk Fury in this game, I think I mentioned that earlier, and it's honestly not that great in this game. Again, just like the Genosaur and Genobreaker, you don't have control of its charged particle beam at will, and the weapons are a bit crap, but the melee attack is very, very good and very hard to dodge, as you can see. I'm kind of getting my ass kicked here. I might not even actually win this. Here's the melee attack for the Panzer. You don't even really melee at all. You just sort of shoot the hybrid cannon in a sort of combo-ish manner. Oh, that was close. He was gonna hit me again. All right, he should be dead almost. We might actually be able to win this one. I was really kind of worried about this because he just sort of comes up and melees you. The Berserk Fury's weapons are really bad. They're even worse than the Genosaur and Genobreaker's weapons. The Genosaur has that pulse cannon, so it has decent weapons, but let's go ahead and take him out too. Kablam! Hybrid cannons for the win. Now, I could demonstrate all the little missile launchers on the Panzer, but really, why would you even bother when you have the hybrid cannon? That's pretty much the only weapon you're going to use, so if you bought the Panzer, that's pretty much what you're going to be using it for. Yeah, we did okay, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the New Century Zero tournament, so We still got one more tournament. Again, it says you are the great warrior. That pisses me off for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think it's mistranslated. And the Liger Zero Panzer sluggishly prances off into the sunset. Hopefully to go take off this ridiculous armor. So like I said, we have one more tournament to go. And I'll be doing that next time. And I'll demonstrate all the rest of the Zoids I have in this file. And we'll be buying some new ones, hopefully. Hopefully I can demonstrate all the ones I want to by the end of it.